Good evening, everybody. Welcome to PatFacts. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's having a great week, great day. Everyone's doing well. We want to just make sure that's set up. Awesome. Tonight we're talking about changing seasons. We're first day of spring was last week around the 20th, 21st. We've had our time change. We've sprung ahead. Hopefully you're adjusted to that and getting set up. Remember to try to keep things as regular as you can, regardless of the time change. Try to stay on your routine, both sleep routine, workout routines, eating routines, and just be in the present. Think about what time it is, not so much what time it was before. And all those things help you adjust more quickly to that change in time. But I saw it was a good time with it being the 29th, end of the month, approaching April Fool's Day on Saturday. So be careful, keep your guard up, stay alert. A good reminder that as the seasons change, we're kind of in a transition mode here. But realizing and remembering that it's not just a switch into spring or into summer or winter. There's a transition period, and as there's transitions, there's a little bit of almost fight back, for lack of a better word, back and forth, where winter's trying to hold on a little bit, spring's trying to kick in, and we're going back and forth. So from a meteorological standpoint and an environment standpoint, we have to be prepared for that. We have to make sure we're extra prepared with layers of clothing, looking at the weather forecasts to have an idea of what's going to go on, so we can be prepared for it, to make sure we're warm enough, we're protected from elements, rain or snow. A degree here and there could be a big difference this time of year in the type of weather we have. So it's good to be prepared. Over prepared really is probably the best bet, just to make sure that you're ready for anything, because this time of year anything really could happen. It was 8 degrees here yesterday, and I think it's -8 with a big wind chill today. So everything's back and forth. So put in that extra time to prepare, to look ahead, to read forecasts, to get weather notifications, whatever the case is. Have lots of fluids with you, lots of layers, so again, you can be ready for any situation. And thinking of that is similar to our life. There's not really maybe a switch where we transition from one goal to the next, or from one task even to the next. Sometimes there's a transition period where sometimes things like to hang on, or maybe something external has an effect on us, where we get a phone call, or we get a task, or an extra maybe add on to a project that we're almost done with. We have to be able to respond to those and be prepared for those. So take the time. Again, we've talked before about looking ahead a few months at a time, or at least a few weeks at a time, to be able to get those busy times, those slower times. Then you can modify and tweak and adjust your schedule as needed. Those should come into play now, where there potentially could be seasons changing. For some of you, your fiscal year might end on Friday, and you may have to be doing some spending or some budgeting and figuring things out, because sometimes if you don't use it, you lose it for the next fiscal year. We always worked with that when I worked with the military. With our corporation, fiscal year was April 1st. So usually February and March, we were making sure we had any allocations, any things we had to get, make sure those transactions were done, so that we could use the funds, use the money, and have things in place for us. So maybe you're going through that time. Maybe you're just getting into a season. Maybe you're more of a outdoor sort of company, or a tourist company. You're kind of ramping up and getting ready to go. Maybe you're switching from one avenue to another. Thinking of a ski hill, ski seasons are shutting down if they haven't already. Once the snow goes, things clean up and clear up, then it's probably mountain biking and outdoor adventures and everything as well. So think of yourself that way. We're not just transitioning from one season to the next, from one task to the next, from one goal to the next. Again, usually there's some overlap. There's some intertwining of the goals. We've talked a lot here about how one goal is going to affect our other goals, is hopefully going to help them as we approach a completion of one goal. that should help us in the other areas that we're going to work towards next. So again, that example just shows that our goals aren't just really individual. We focus on one. But again, just like our systems, our body and our mind, everything is so intertwined, and it's a complete system that it has an effect on those. So hopefully that will help you transition to that next goal. But again, it won't be just that switch of one to the next. There will be a gradual transition where maybe you're on wrap up of this first goal and putting things, kind of completing things, maybe doing some reflecting on what was working, what wasn't, how did the system go, so that you can, again, adjust that for the next go around. Maybe that's part of what you're up to while you're getting set up to start the next goal. What do I need for this one? What's my ultimate goal? What supplies do I need? What's my strategy? What's my schedule for this? Looking at my scheduling, my calendar. I know there's some busy times. How can I work through that to get to these maybe lighter times to work through that as well? All these things is almost like that calendar we talked about a few months ago is almost like our forecast. So we say in the actual seasons, we want to check the weather forecast and see the weather so we can prepare for it. We know to maybe dress warmer today because it's colder. Maybe dress in layers because it's cold in the morning, warm in the afternoon. So we can prepare for that within your goals and your life and your objectives. We want to do the same thing. That's that 3 month, 6 month, whatever you did for that schedule. That's your forecast. That's to know things are quiet right now. I can work on a few projects. I can put a ribbon on this one, finish it off, and transition to the next one. Before things get hectic again. And then say, oh, you know what? I'm really busy time right now, so I've got to tweak my workload a little bit. Maybe I need to push this next project back a little bit, or do some minimal things to get things going while I tie up this first project that I'm finishing, this first goal that I've accomplished. While I tie up the loose ends and get that finished, I'm going to push this back a little bit just because I need the time to really get this one off the books, but still being able to do what I need to do through the day. And then I can focus my attention on this new goal. Once goal A is done, I can switch to goal B, and or when things lighten up for my schedule. So I thought it was a good reminder. Sometimes we get almost too wrapped up in this goal's done, this goal starts, and it doesn't always happen that way. There's usually a lot of interchange and intertwine and just interactions between the goals that will go along the process, but also as we near completion of one and the beginning of the other. So keeping that in mind, use your forecast, use your goal setting that you've been doing, use your tracking journals to really keep an eye on things and be ready for these moments and to prepare for this transitional time. And again, to maybe layer up when you need to, have some extra layers on hand, have some supplies, have some readiness. Again, we're trying to be more proactive, not so much reactive. Again, it was 6 yesterday, chilly today with a big band of snow that came through. So thinking yesterday was light coats, hats, sneakers. Today was boots, winter coat, gloves, hats, that sort of thing, preparing for what was to come to be able to handle and adapt what life gives us. And that's what we want to do with our projects, with our goals, with our day-to-day life, is be able to handle what life throws our way and be able to adapt to it and be able to hopefully be proactive and kind of guess, or maybe educated guess or predict what life is going to hand us, so then we can be better able to again adapt to that and help ourselves move forward. As always, it's as the season change, as the month ends, a great reminder to get those check-in points looked after. Hopefully you've scheduled them in as a monthly or bi-weekly or whatever works for you. But again, the end of the month, beginning of a new month is a great time to revisit our previous month and how are things going. Are we successful? Are we on the right path towards our goal? Do we get those small goals along the way this month to get us even closer to our big goal at the end of this year, or whenever you set your goal? And if not, that's okay. Let's revisit. Let's look at our plan. Let's look at our calendar. Do we correctly forecast busy times and quiet times? And do we correctly adapt to that or prepare for that or modify our schedules to make sure they were in line with that. And again, if not, don't beat yourself up. Look at it as a chance to learn. Okay, I tried this month. It didn't really work. I had some struggles here, and here. What can I do next month to get me going and back towards that goal? And like we say here, our goals are or resolutions, we kind of dub them. We started in October, and we have the new year. So it's the whole year to be able to work towards these. So even if you schedule them for maybe 6 months in or 8 months in, and you still have a little bit of room there to work with. And again, things are going to come up. Things are going to happen that we'll have to deal with and adjust to. So just do your best, learn from anything that does arise, go through and try to handle these transitions as best you can. So again, when the next transition comes, you'll be better equipped to handle it. Some transitions will be harder than others. Winter to spring right now is a bit of a harder transition, easier for us because it's getting warmer, getting nicer, but harder maybe in the fact that, again, winter seems to be trying to hold on here and stick around as long as it can. Physically or realistically, probably fall to winter is difficult because it gets colder and we have to adapt to that. But really, there's adaptations that come in all of them. The same for you. Some transitions will happen very smoothly. Some will be very complicated, very tricky, and hard to kind of work through. But again, we want to take those experiences, easy and difficult, and apply those experiences to our systems and to our planning and to our processes, so that, again, the next time we're even more prepared for those. So I'd love to hear from you in the chats if you're with us live or if you're watching a recording. As always, we appreciate you being here. Sorry, the video seems a little lagging tonight. Sorry about that, but hopefully the message will be there. If so, maybe just close your eyes and listen to the audio if it's too distracting, but hopefully we'll get that cleared up for next week. But again, either way, we'd love to hear from you in the chat. How is your transition going? How is your seasonal transition going in life and in reality with your environmentally with this actual seasons? Is there a season you prefer? Maybe you're more productive. I'm more of a spring summer person. Winter's a little tough for me, so I'm happy to see the warm temperatures and hopefully shed the winter coats and the boots and stuff and be able to just be outside more and do some more things. But what's your favorite kind of season, and how are you handling your transitions as it relates to your goals? Are you struggling? Is there tough? Are you seeing some progress in the third month going into the fourth month of 2023? And again, if you've been with us, you probably started back in October. So you've maybe had 7 months that we're heading into as far as working towards these goals and progressing. How are you feeling? How are things going? Do you find there's different transition periods? Do you find there's different things you need to adjust and tweak to? Again, let us know in the comments what you're dealing with, what's been working for you, what's been a struggle for you, what hasn't been going so well. Then again, we can learn from each other, and maybe someone else in the chat is going through this or has been through this, and they can help you and give some guidance and some information back to you. And yeah, we just want to hear from each other and help each other get through this important time, because we want to keep going and keep moving and keep ascend till the end, like we like to say here. Always want to be growing and getting better, but just a little bit each day. But there could be times where we get a little bit stuck. So when those times come up, what do we do? How do we handle it? What can we do? Or maybe what have you done already to, again, help with those of us that are in the chat with you, again, to grow and evolve and to get better on our journey towards our goals. Seasons are, again, even thinking from a meteorological standpoint, on the calendar, we see the first of spring is the 20th, 21st of usually March. Meteorologically, it was the 1st of March when they kind of consider it spring. So even within those systems, there's two different dates, two different perspectives of the transition and when the transition is going to happen or start. So again, there's no real right or wrong answer. It's really applicable to you and what you're going through and what your goals are and where you're headed next. And if you have a list or a few goals, or again, even those small goals working toward that big overall goal later this year, you want to, again, use those transitions from goal to goal. Probably if you have a list of them, goal 1 is going to interact with goal 2, with goal 3, with goal 4, and then they'll just run and flow into each other. And that's what gives us that momentum. So we're not starting from scratch each time. We're carrying on momentum that goal 1 brings into goal 2, because we probably, again, had some influence, some impact on goal 2 as we worked toward achieving that first goal. So the transitions will vary. I may transition through what I'm doing slower than you are. That's okay. Or vice versa. We're all on our own journey. We're all going through our own seasons here. There's different transition times for different people, depending, again, on experiences, on what the goals are, what the small steps are, how many, maybe the check-in period is a little different. Then maybe we can see some progress more often than others, or maybe we pick up on those roadblocks, those obstacles a little sooner too. So again, it's try not to be too comparative with other people. Compare yourself to yourself. It's like we talked about last week. It's very common online now to get into that comparison mode because of what's on social media and the fakeness and the put on, the horse and pony show that a lot of people put on. And it's important to not get sucked into that and just compare yourself to you. Are you getting better? Are you better today than yesterday? Are you progressing towards that goal, those goals? That's what's important. You're doing the best that you can with what's presented to you. And that's what you want to compare yourself to. So again, don't worry about who is maybe a couple seasons ahead of you, or even a few seasons behind you, unless you can maybe give them some guidance and support. Focus on you, where you were before, and how your transitions are going. And when it's time for you to change seasons or goals, that time will happen. Just give yourself that system to go through the transition, and give yourself that permission to take the time it needs to truly go through that transition. And again, be prepared. Try to forecast as much as you can. Prepare. Control the controllables, like we like to say here. Prepare for anything we can try to prepare for. And then when the unexpected happens, we're better prepared to handle that. And that's it for tonight, gang. Just a short episode, again, with the seasons changing, the time change, month changing in a couple of days. I thought it was a good reminder to go through your systems. Again, do that audit, do those check-ins at month end to head into April on that right foot into that transition as we go forward. And again, keep in mind, your transition is your transition, which will be different than my transition, which is different than his or her transition as well. Compare yourself to you only, get a little bit better each day, and continue to move forward. Again, love to hear from you in the chat, how your transitions are going, what you're transitioning into. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, send me a DM, comment on the video. We'll reach out and try to help you get back on track and look at options for you, whether that's coaching or some guidance or a referral to somewhere else. We can do that. Those of you that were here a few weeks ago for our 3-year anniversary special, thanks for tuning in. It was so much fun. I do have the link for Blake's conference that he's presenting at. That happens this Saturday. So we'll post, I'll go back to the 3-year anniversary. I'll post it in there, and then I'll share some of his posts on my page as well, or pages, so you can see them. But if you go back to the 3-year anniversary on my Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube page, you'll see it there. Instagram, we're getting there. I just have to split it because we went over the hour, so it doesn't quite fit. So it'll be posted to Instagram soon. And this one will be as well as we go down the road. So again, the links will be there for you. Information, if you're can't find them, again, send me a DM and I'll make sure to get them off to you or get you in touch with Blake himself. Have a great week, everyone. Stay safe, take care, and remember, always make yourself the priority that you deserve to be by striving to be operationally fit. Take care. Have a great night.